High-speed 2, HS2, the much talked about new north-south rail line for England, has been branded unachievable by an official watchdog. But how on earth does that verdict from the Infrastructure and Projects Authority square with building sites for the line in 350 spots along the route? Is it remotely feasible that the whole project could be binned? The government says no and claims that the project will bring transformational benefits for generations to come, as they put it. Tony Berkeley, now a Labour peer, Lord Berkeley, is a civil engineer and was deputy head of a government review of HS2 before resigning. He is a vocal critic of it. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So this so-called red rating that HS2 has been given by the watchdog, branding it unachievable, it also means, according to their definition, that there are major issues with project definition, schedule, budget, quality and benefits, which at this stage don't appear to be manageable or resolvable. Are they right?
Yes, they are right. And these are the real experts at the heart of government who actually know what they're talking about. The real problem is that there is no defined, approved or safe station at Euston after 8 years of trying. So here we have lots of shovels in the ground, but we have no terminus for the railway. And I think the time has come now to stop the whole thing, set up a residuary body to dispose of the assets, and to look at the bits which have been started on the ground, which are somewhere between Old Oak Common and Birmingham, and think about repurposing them as maybe some railway, a new railway line, rather than leaving it as a ruin. But the rest of it is totally unnecessary, and it's bleeding many millions of pounds every week, which could be better spent on railways in the north, or, as you've said earlier, on the National Health Service.
Is it really feasible, though, or politically palatable to anyone to make the case, after all of this investment, after all of this controversy, after all of this building work, to just scrap the whole thing?
Well, you said all of this investment, but we're hardly there. It's 160 billion, I reckon, to finish the thing. And we're only about 10% of the way there. And any brave government would look at its expenditure and also look at the need for this. Our post-COVID, there is no evidence of traffic need, and there's no evidence that it'll actually get people to London any more quickly and level up the
What about capacity,
regions.
though? That's the argument often made, isn't it? It's not just about speed, it's about capacity.
Well, yes, there is plenty of capacity on the existing lines already.
Is there really? It doesn't feel like that when you're stood in the corridor for hours on end.
Well, you could actually. There are, of course, there's capacity problems in some places, but what they're doing now is building a high-speed line which will get people to London half an hour more quickly. And is that really necessary when you can work on the train with your laptop? And when you want to actually level up and spend money on the railways going east-west in London.
We hear your critique.
In the north.
We hear your critique, and your critique is a long-standing one. Make the case then for how you could feasibly repurpose this project, all of these holes in the ground and building works that are ongoing. Because for your argument to hold water, your case for an alternative needs to be a robust one and one that can change minds.
Well, the case for repurposing only applies where construction has started on the ground, which is between Birmingham and Old Oak Common. And that needs looking at, because you don't want to leave half-finished viaducts and tunnels there, obviously. And I think if they lowered the standard, the quality of the railway to something more like Network Rails, that might be a useful extra capacity provision into London.
So you build an ordinary railway rather than a high-speed one?
Yes, you don't need Euston Station, because Old Oak Common would be a perfectly adequate terminus on the new Elizabeth line, actually get you to the centre of London more quickly. Whether you need the station in Birmingham is for the people of Birmingham and the council to decide. Everything else needs to be stopped, and the millions being spent on consultants and advisors and lawyers north of Birmingham, that needs cancelling immediately, as does the whole of Euston, which we've been sitting there for 10 years now, and we still don't have a safe design for the approaches to the station. So methinks that it needs to be looked at again by Network Rail to help them with their existing services into Euston and forget about HS2 going there.